Let's see here, guys. I'm going to run a clip for...
Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Fan Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Huh? So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye.
Are you the Keymaster?
You can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man, no time to talk.
As if.
Hey guys, this is Christy, and welcome to Lunch Hour Reheated. I am with Q, one of our frequent guests, as well as probably Prismatics will jump on in his disdainful Norwegian way, yes, Norsk way. And now I have a friend here, Chris Mancini of White Cat Entertainment. He is doing actually a current Kickstarter of Long Ago and Far Away. I will go ahead and actually start drawing a pinup we were talking about in the earlier for a cross that will be available cross campaign. He's only here for the first hour. I will drop in a link, but this is the Kickstarter that I have right now going on. It'll be going on until the 26th. I've done anything in conjunction with Turner Family Terrors that'll be concluding on Friday. So now what Chris is doing is Long Ago and Far Away Volume 2, Son of Elvenwood. So essentially I'll have Chris talk about it in a minute, but as part of our cross campaign things, I have given him a copy of a special edition of Demon Bitch and Sepulchre, and I'll put, as I said, both of our campaigns in there shortly. And he's offering Volume 1. So you can go get acquainted with the story. It's a free read. I put it in my free read dump. So you get that once the Kickstarter funds and when I get the money. And you go over there and you go and take a look at his Kickstarter. I provided a link to that in my main Kickstarter. If you ever have a question, I'll provide a link to his direct one. So Chris, tell us more about it.
Absolutely. Well, first, thanks for having me on. And Q, nice to meet you. So
nice
good
to
be here. Well, I'm a big fantasy nerd, and I grew up reading like Narnia and Lord of the Rings and Conan and all of these books I just kind of grew up with. And also I'm stuck in the 80s. So I wanted to kind of create a fun book that kind of took all of those things that I grew up with and really liked. And I thought, well, what if instead of British school children, it was like, slackers and guys that really didn't have their lives together went into the portal to the fantasy world instead, and because they're kind of jerks, they're probably going to make things worse, which is what they do. So that's kind of the premise of Long Ago and Far Away in Volume 1. They kind of go in, and Jason the hero has to rediscover his sense of childhood wonder and his inner child, because he saved the land at 13, but at 30 he runs a comic book store, he's an asshole, and he can't get his life together. When he has to go back, it's a lot more ground to cover to actually become a hero again. And in Volume 2 we kind of see the consequences of one of his actions about a quote adventure with the Witch Queen, where he now has a son, but since the time passes differently, the son is now 20 years older than him, angry at being abandoned, and tries to kill him in a hotel room at Comic-Con with a sword. So that's how the Volume 2 starts, and it gets worse from there, and then it turns out he pissed off a bunch of necromancers who are destroying the world. So Jason has a lot of things on his plate as far as trying to save the world, keeping an alliance between the witch and the elves intact, and then also dealing with a son who's constantly trying to kill him. So that's where we're at for Long Ago and Far Away. It's a really fun series. It's a fantasy comedy. I try to make it as funny as possible, but also kind of have a little bit more depth with the characters, and kind of like it mirrors like different parts of our own lives, our childhood, our adulthood, becoming parents, like all of those things. But then it also has like dragons, zombies, necromancers, witches, elves, and poor judgment and bad parenting. So,
oh, that sounds like us in our 20s.
Yes.
So for the size of the print, what are we looking at here?
It's a I think at 11 by 14, no, at 11 by 17 is always good.
All right, let's
because
go.
then I can. I also sometimes like to frame them and then put them in my house as well. So I have a bunch of like Rise of the Kung Fu Dragon Master ones, and it's always fun. Then when people come over, I'm like, "Oh, did you do that?" I said, "No, but it is my book. These are talented artists that made them, but it is my book." So it's always really fun.
So I took a quick read of Long Gone Far Away, and I'm running my Kickstarter, guys. So sorry, I only have so much brain capacity sometimes.
Totally.
So what's the Witch Queen's name? Do we ever get her name? 'Cause I
Yes,
couldn't find her.
Nexus. Nexis.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to the part where he and her like got it on, and
Right.
it's, like probably was pretty terrible. I heard too. But
Yes,
That's the
indeed.
Queen's name Amber Heard, but that's a different story.
And you know, the inspiration, if we go back to like the Narnia stories, where the witch was always this kind of real sexy villain, and C.S. Lewis like put a little bit of sexuality in it, and not necessarily Lion Witch in the Wardrobe, but one of the prequels, the Magician's Nephew, always like the uncle always referred to the witch as like this, a damn fine woman, no matter how evil she was, because she was hot, always like really just was attracted to her. So C.S. Lewis's point was always that evil can be very attractive and very seductive, and then we always got, the femme fatales from the 50s, and it just, I wanted to kind of play that on its ear a little bit into the story, and like in that weird like wish fulfillment and the horrible consequences that would come with that in the story.
yeah, no, I'm all drawing her now. No, she's not gonna be naked, guys. So stop that. There was actually this Kickstarter that was rotating around, and some people got really pissed. Like, I guess it's called Aya, and I'm not bad mouthing it, just that's the name, Aya. And it's like this jungle chick, but she often has her boobs out and everything, and she's fighting, and it's like a lot of TNA. Some people got really mad about that. I'm just like, people put up eroticon like this all the time, so it's like, whether it's bad or good TNA, you have to kind of, it is what it is. Like, if people want to pay
It is
for
what it is, yeah.
Well, maybe
I
it's
found
like
it so odd.
Yeah.
What is it?
I found it so odd when heavy metal magazine was on sale back in the days. Nobody bats an eye, but when that book came out, everybody got hysterical. Oh no!
Actually, the funny thing is that heavy metal, not so much, but there were certain comic books, and they weren't even really good comic books. Like Frank Forte points out one of them, and I'm pretty sure like the material was pretty. We can all understand the material of some adult comic books, right, Chris? Like the cheesy one where they had like Mighty Morphin Rump Rangers. So we guess what this is about.
Yes,
so it's like, so it's like for that one, he talked about a really messed up story. Like what they did was that they made a kid go in there and buy it, and then they tried suing the creators or like jailing the creators. But it's like on the cover, like when he showed the cover in one of the talks that I was in with him, like I was on a panel with him, it said for adults only. It's like, well, the creators already done their due diligence. It's like, if the people have to get in trouble, I guess it's the comic book guys. But
it's when porn makers make the movie Flesh Gordon. You know what you're getting. It's not it's not a big mystery what's coming.
Yeah, so this is Nexus. So tell us about Nexus for a while. Draw this sexy picture of her.
Yes, Nexus is the classic villain in the story, and as it kind of progresses, based on the Narnia stories of like evil being sexy and seductive, and but that's kind of just where it starts. Things kind of go a little off the rails in numerous different ways as things kind of progress in the story. But what I like about her too is as she has the classic villain vibes. Like she'll say silence a lot, and she obviously wants to still, win and control. Destroy the world, control everyone. As the story progresses, there's more going on, and then as we get into volume 2, she gets a little bit more nuanced because she's also a mother, as we see when the son becomes a lot older.
Right. I hear you. So does the son look like Jason? Is he as much of a prick as Jason?
He's worse. So
Oh.
And also he's also has this sense of entitlement, and because he's
like Jason.
grown up in a rich castle, and he's never had to do anything, and then he pisses off a bunch of necromancers, and things go south very quickly from him. But the only one thing that he cares about is making his dad pay for abandoning him. And the first thing his dad says, "Why didn't I even know you existed?" And Marla's like, "Hey, maybe you should stop talking now." Like, he literally just makes it worse. So that's and that dynamic gets explored a lot in the second volume, like the dysfunctional family dynamic of having a witch queen, a father, and a son that's 20 years older than the father, who just wants to make him pay. So we go through a lot of those dynamics, and can they get past it? What's important? And we kind of goes from there. But it's played a lot for laughs as well, of course.
I'm thinking also the Witch Queen was like one of those like mothers that did the latchkey kid shit where they were, like where they went ahead and like it's just like, yeah, okay, here you go, here's ramen mm-hmm. and then don't burn the house down and have fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Lord Stone, the name of the son, he was when he's complaining to Jason, yeah, my childhood was pretty horrible. My mother was consumed with conquering the world, and I was raised by ogre nannies. You know how horrible ogre nannies are? So they're pretty horrible.
Oh man. Yeah, so I'm drawing Nexus right now. This moment. I hope you like it, the rendition.
It looks great. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I always like your interpretation of different characters as well. I love Demon Bitch, but I like to when you kind of go out of your library a little bit and just start drawing these other characters, because I like how you interpret them. They're really neat. I almost have like this is a weird thing to say, but like a James, what is it? A Jim, the guy that did Blood, John J. Muth, I think, vibe. Sometimes
what about that sounds familiar. I'm trying to remember.
The way you kind of compose your characters and your frames. It's like this really cool aesthetic that you have when you do the panels, which I like.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, like people say that with my comics, it's more of like my own voice. Like it's like your voice is distinctive, and I was so tired. I was like, what? Like, yeah, people say I have a nice voice. What are you talking about? Because I was kind of like lame, and he was just like going like, oh my God, this is what's going on, and but no, they were just saying like how my comics and my voice were very distinctive.
Oh, there's no doubt. In fact, as I was reading like Demon Bitch, I was thinking like every single panel, I'm like, all right, will this either happen to her, she witnessed this, or somebody did this in front of her?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's the thing. It's like a lot of it's from real life. So like when people get mad that I drew them, I'm like, well, it was just kind of funny because it was like, one of my friends who wants to pledge, he says I have to rob an old woman of her credit card first. So yeah, but you're kind of like snapping in and out just as a like quick. Let me mute the mic for a minute while you fix that. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just doing that. But yeah, it's like it's one of those things. But okay, so let me see here. So yeah, Nexus. So what's her backstory? Does anybody want to talk? Like, what's going on with her? I mean, I've read the book, but I figure it's more fun for you.
Her backstory is she's one of the the thing about Elvenwood is it's where a lot of the stories kind of come from. Like a lot of writers and creators actually visit the land, and there are certain primal forces that are there for good and evil. That's why nobody really kind of gains the advantage until some other things kind of happen in the stories, but she's kind of like that primal force for evil, and then as the elves are the primal force for good. But things kind of like change as the story progresses. But it's kind of like I always set up like the world as like the setup. Like here are kind of like the tropes that you expect in a fantasy story and that we kind of grew up with. Now we're going to start here, and then we're going to kind of go off the rails from there. But I was really careful to make the story like familiar at first. Like anybody who's read fantasy, read Lord of the Rings, read Narnia, or just watched fantasy movies would kind of recognize all the tropes first before I started just kind of playing and tearing them down a little bit and changing them. So you have your classic beautiful evil. You could even go to like Neverending Story 2, that ridiculous movie where it was the that evil witch there that literally did nothing but pose for the entire movie. So.
Well, yeah, and it's like I was watching Willow, and I just remember how like the witch would get more and more haggard as time went on, and they were like
Yeah.
literally beating the shit out of each other at one point in a mud bath, and it wasn't even sexy; it was just weird.
Yes. Yeah. So you have all those things, and then of course you have like she's got special powers where she can transform into things, and she has a very short temper, very little patience, and likes to say silence a lot.
And hit people. Yeah, I know about that. And by the way, I hit 5K, guys. Woo! 50-10.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you. Let me go in.
Yeah, Kickstarters, they seem a little harder than they used to be, right?
Yeah, I mean, I try not to. I mean, again, I'm not trying to be like, oh, I don't look at reality, but I just try not to over focus on what's hard because I know how my brain is. Then I'll fixate on how hard it is.
No, you can acknowledge it being hard and then moving on. That's still fine.
Yeah, no, that's fine. As I said, like my brain will tend to fixate on certain things, and that's why I'm like, yeah, it's hard. But then when you have 50 million people say how hard it is, it's like, oh my god, I need a break right now.
It gets in your head. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, especially like with some things, but it's like I think probably by the end of this week I could possibly fund. It looks like because
totally
$1,000 is people are like, but it's $1,000. It's like it's really not that much when you kind of think about it. But
you're in striking distance for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's like as I said, I always try to talk to people. Like that's the thing with Kickstarters is that people forget that you still need to talk to people.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Yeah, because like sometimes the algorithm is very frustrating. Like people ask me, what do you think of Kickstarter as a platform? I said, it's great. Don't get me wrong. Like how they curate it is good. Like how the response times and things like how people find you is awesome. But the problem is they got to get on Kickstarter first. And that's the problem because especially Facebook and all the main platforms, especially Facebook, they'll just quash you. Like they were even stopping my DMs and I wasn't even doing like, hey, here's the text blast and I'll go. Like I'll literally go and like try to talk to people and bring it up with my friends and it's a conversation, but that takes shorter than a big wall of text. But it's just like that's the challenge. It's like Kickstarter itself is not to blame on that, and it aggregates your things.
No, all socials decided that well, if there's a link that takes you off the platform, we're going to throttle that post unless you pay. And that's one of the frustrations with all social media right now. You're absolutely right. It used to be like, hey, we could promote, we could hang out, we could interact with fans. And now, if you don't post something that has some kind of anger engagement, because that's the easiest to monetize, and you're promoting, then I was like, nope. It's 4 people will see it out of your thousands of followers, and then unless you pay us. And then 1,000 people will see it, and then maybe, then maybe somebody will click.
Well, I think also what kind of sucks about it too is like, okay, let's say you pay for it; it's not that expensive. But the problem with these guys is that I hear the ads suck ass anyway. They're not very intuitive, so it's like you're not really getting much more for your money. So that kind of sucks on that level too.
Yeah, I've been experimenting with it, and unfortunately, that's definitely the conclusion I'm still coming to. I'm like, well, let me try this. What's if we spend this, and then there's no question that the numbers of like are inflated with like clicks and impressions. I'm like, there's no way 1,000 people are clicking on the link and then nobody's pledging. It's bots. And then they're counting that as legitimate, which is, not great.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because when I look at Nexus, she's like the least like vamped out of all the sexy evil female characters because they got that wild makeup. I mean, she's got the sexy dress down and the kick and bod, and she looks actually reasonably attractive. I mean, on that like kind of like the big high eyebrows and all that other shit, but. I've never ever like with her. She's like the least garishly colored out of all the evil villainesses that I've seen.
Right.
I mean, she's still like, that's a pretty sexy outfit. But I mean, I've seen like crazier shit than that too. I mean, again, it's just kind of funny because I know it's kind of an all ages book, even though there's some adult situations implied.
Right.
It's not meant to be that, but I think it's funny, like in the book in Volume 1, where Jason says, "I never realized you were hot."
Yeah, because he was there when he was 12 last time. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, 13 maybe he would have been like.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's when puberty really kicks in for guys, like
Yeah.
13, I guess.
But I try to put the book strongly in that kind of PG-13 kind of Marvel Star Warsy kind of thing where there is some adult situations, there is some mature content, but not super mature, and of course I like to put in a lot of immature content as well. So.
Well, it's meant to be with comic books. Of course, it's immature.
Yes.
I know people go like, "Oh, well, comics are a higher art form." Yes, they are, but also they're full of dookie jokes too. Let's admit to it. It's like, they say, "Oh, Shakespeare was this big, deep thing," and it's like, no. If you really realize what Shakespeare originated from, Shakespeare was actually really very fucking lowbrow humor. Like a lot of the things that we hear in Old English on Shakespeare that we think, "Oh, that's so classy." It's like, no, that's actually us talking really fucking dirty to each other. It's like pretty low street talk. That's the thing. And a lot of it was exaggerated and played by guys. It's not this whole deep thing that we made it out to be in the 18th, 19th. Like when it first came out, it was actually pretty ribald humor. Like it wasn't played seriously.
Shakespeare wanted everyone to come to his plays, not just the rich aristocracy. He wanted everyone to enjoy them. So yeah, totally.
Yeah, so there's Nexus. So she's about how old is Nexus here?
She is. We're not really sure how old she is, but it's everyone ages slower in Elvenwood, so she's probably hundreds of years old.
Now I have another question too. It's like I wonder how she was her origin story in the sense because how you mentioned Tolkien and those guys and C.S. Lewis in the book briefly in volume 1. I'm not going to spoil volume 1 for you guys. It is available for you as a part of the free read dump, but do get it too. Like get the book itself. He gave me I'm using this as a reference, but he did give me the book. So like it's a really hefty book. It's actually pretty well done. And it's actually pretty funny because I've worked around nerds. I've worked in a comic store, so yeah, they do talk about that. But
Totally.
so like it's kind of weird because it's sort of like I'm thinking like of Nexus, even though it's not. It's like the Silmarillion, and I haven't read it, but I've heard about bits of it, where Sauron is supposed to. Sauron was, I forgot who was the guy that he precluded Sauron, and Saruman. Who was that guy?
There's Sauron, and then there's Saruman.
Yeah, he was the first Discord, basically, like one of the gods. Like there was this orchestra and all that and everything, and that was like his unofficial thing. Sorry,
this was like Ilsidir and that island land that like sank into the ocean, like all the stuff that's Amazon is trying to put on the TV show before the Lord of the Rings stuff. Yeah, it was kind of like it was similar to Atlantis, where it was this great kingdom, and then it basically they wanted immortality from the elves, and Sauron was actually kind of egging them on a little bit, so they went to attack the elves, and the elves were not having it, and they may have even overreacted a little and literally destroyed their entire land and sank the island.
So out of curiosity, like, what was Sauron? I never really got what he was.
Sauron was, and I actually didn't know this until I started reading like the extra backstory, and he was actually a guy at one point, and
like a human, right?
Yeah, and he kind of tricked the elves and the, I think it was I can't remember the name of the people that lived on that island into making the rings, and he was like really, he was like kind of like attractive, and he was like really. You would use diplomacy and all of these other kind of tools instead of just attacking people. And then things kind of went south, and the island went under the ocean. And at some point, he became like energy, which I'm not sure exactly when that happened. And then, he would constantly reform with the ring, and then he would not reform. Then he was like, in Lord of the Rings, he's basically a big eye on top of the tower. So there is like some point where he became like energy from like actually being a person, but I'm not entirely clear on that part.
Yeah, it's like I think he morphed into something. I didn't know if he was like, it kind of implied in some of the books that I read that he was an elf, or he could have been like a human.
I think he was a human. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I made jokes about it because, like, you know how they had this whole controversy about, like, I guess The Hobbit. I forgot the series on Amazon. What do they call it eventually?
The Rings of
The Rings
Power.
of Power.
The Rings of Power.
Mhm.
Like, it was a prequel to the prequel, and everybody was arguing,
Right.
like, they're all yelling and stuff. It's like everybody has to be diverse and everything. And then people are going, "Oh no, you're going there." Yes, I am going there because one of my friends, we were talking about it, and he said, "Look, we all know that elves are racist dicks, so why change them and make them more diverse? Because we all know what it's implied." We're like laughing because the brows are the dark elves that
irony.
live underneath. What color are they? The wood elves, what are they? What do they look like? What do the high elves look like? See, there you go. You know, and I was just like, we were laughing because it's like, you know, you do have a point. Because it's like I mean, I played this thing called Dwarf Fortress, which crashes every 5 minutes.
Mhm.
But you're a bunch of dwarves. I mean, obviously, a lot of the stuff from D&D takes a lot from Lord of the Rings and all that other stuff. So, Lord of the Rings, you know, C.S. Lewis, those things, but mostly Lord of the Rings. Let's face it, right? And then and Gygax extrapolated on that. And what I think is funny is that they were like in Dwarf Fortress. You literally go and create a little fortress inside like a mountain, sort of like more like not Mirkwood. What was the Moria? Like Moria, right?
Mhm.
You go in there, you do it, and you fuckers die all the time. Like that game crashed all the time. You died. Like a lot of them go crazy and stuff. So it's like literally, it's almost like Oregon Trail, but 10 times worse. And it's like dwarf style. So, and it's like you have to meet and trade with elves, and they're assholes. They're just like,
Nice.
we hate everybody, but we're vegetarian and we're better than you.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, and elves are kind of inherently racist. They screwed up, and you know they were one of the elder races that was supposed to guide men in the younger races, and they fucked it up.
Mhm.
So that's why they went off to the island. Like, sorry,
Yeah.
we screwed up. Bye.
Yeah. Elves are the fantasy 2%.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I didn't want to make it into the social commentary thing. I just thought it was funny. Like when people were trying to make it into this other thing, it's like, no, elves are assholes. Like, understand that. Have you guys ever played D&D? It's like, well, elves are always like of light and they're good. It's like, no, they're shitheads, like total pricks.
Well,
There's
D&D
not-
finally embraced that, and they made the Drow, which were the dark elves, who actually hated the regular elves, and they were like kind of like pure evil. They were like the opposite of the regular elves, which I found interesting.
Yeah, like
Not to
they're
be confused
dark.
from the Marvel version.
Yeah, they're dark.
Elves.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the dark elves are literally dark.
Yeah.
And I just it's just a lot of things to make jokes about for me. It's just like I'm like, well, there you go. You know. But I mean, as I said, it was just funny. I just thought it was kind of funny because it's like you could have used that and interpolated between the races of like that whole LOTR thing. Like now you see why elves come from a certain position. Now you see why dwarves come from a certain position in humans and how they regard each other. Like I think they were way ahead of their time on that. Like, because with dwarves, like they live underground and they're dirty and they're always sweaty, and the only thing
Yeah.
that people ever want them for is, hey, you can make us shit. That's pretty and it's valuable, and you can go underground, and we don't want to go there, and we want the pretty things you get, and we can trade with you. And
Yeah,
with the
they're-
high elves, it's like we go around looking regal, and supposedly we watch over the planet. I don't know.
And there was always that, even in all the fantasy literature, there was that distrust between the races. Like no one really loved the dwarves never really loved humans, elves never really loved dwarves. So there was always kind of those undertones that were really interesting. And then in Lord of the Rings, of course, you had Legolas and Gimli, where it would transcend the what is it, the racial prejudices of elves versus dwarves.
And humans were just like this young race that just fucked everything up all the time. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing, but yet we flourished. They're like,
Yes.
how did you guys live? You don't
Yeah.
have any magical powers. You really can't create anything good. All you guys do is squabble and fight each other, and you guys live notoriously short lifespans. But it works. I don't know.
Yeah, it still sounds familiar, doesn't it? All of those things you just said.
Yeah, it's just kind
For
of like,
humans.
yeah, we do stupid shit, but somehow we live. Like somehow our
Yeah.
races don't die or something. That's why
I
it's
don't
like,
know. We're not doing anything right, but we're still here. Okay, so
yeah, it's kind of funny. It's just as I said, it was hilarious. Okay, so I've got Nexus down right here. Yeah, but I just wanted to bring up that aspect of it because I said, you could turn this into an enormously hilarious aspect. Like the elves are just like, as I said, the people that are just like, oh, you're here. I guess we have to take care of you. Like this noblesse oblige about like, yeah, I guess we have to take care of these And that's why they fucked off to their island because it's like Greyland because it's like, yeah, fuck it, we don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. Now don't
But,
follow
like-
us. Oh no, we're gonna follow us. Well, then we're gonna destroy your island. We gave you one rule, and now you're breaking it. Stupid
Yeah,
humans.
What were the Greyland? I know, like, okay, so the thing is, I've read Lord of the Rings and I've read The Hobbit. I have not read the other prequel books, but I guess the Greylands is their utopia, or what is it? Because it's like, I know in the anime, it's like, it's where they go to rest and do whatever.
Christy, it's the land beyond the sea. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, but what if it just falls off and it's a flat Earth? I mean, it is Middle Earth.
It's considered like, you know, that paradise that only elves can go to. That kind of thing. I think it. What I love about it is it's very vague. So it could be.
It's kind of like Mormon heaven before 78.
Yeah.
If anybody has read the Book of Mormon, has anybody ever watched the musical or heard the musical of the Book of Mormon, you will know exactly what I mean.
Yes, yeah, I saw the musical for sure.
Yeah, I believe that was funny as hell. I was like, oh my God. And I looked it up and it was true. I was like,
yeah, like what? This is crazy.
oh yeah,
I
well,
remember.
it's about 1978 basically, and I didn't know what that was, and I looked it up. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, did you see the show, the play?
I have not seen the play. My sister
Oh.
has, but I've listened. I've watched vignettes of it,
Hmm.
and I've heard "I Believe." And okay, guys, just let's put it out there. There's one part of the lyrics where it said, "In 1978, God has changed His mind about Black people." So that was based off the Mormon Church, where up until 1978, anybody Black could not join. It was segregated. So after that, they had a revelation, I guess, and now anybody can be Mormon. The end.
Well, what I found most fascinating before the show was that I'm looking at the program, like I'm seeing it live, and I'm like, well, this looks like an actual ad for the Mormons. And turns out, even though the Book of Mormon mercilessly skewers the Mormon faith and leaders and the entire religion, the Mormons advertise in the program for the show and actually have an ad in the program for that's serious. It's like, oh, you've seen the show, now get the real story. But you know, obviously the theater's like, well, we need the money, we're gonna take it. So, but there's actually an ad for the Mormons in the middle of the program.
I have to give the Mormons this, and even though I don't really eschew their, not really into the religion, most Mormons I've met are really fucking nice. Like, they're genuinely nice people. They're very kind, nice people. So it's like, even though like the religion is kind of, I think it's actually truly an American religion. I mean, you got titties, you got outer space. I mean, you can rule your own planet like it's Star Trek. So I mean, that's like a fucking American as fuck like religion right there. And you kind of put God and Jesus in there, and there you go. God, I'm breaking everybody's rule today.
Yeah. Let's see. Don't talk about politics, religion, and
Well, not that fucked. But no, I mean, I'm just making a joke about like the rings of power. It was like, I'm not
Yeah.
judging it was bad or good. I'm just saying like, no, they should have kept the L's racist dickheads because that's what they were.
But they,
Like, I
you
mean,
know,
What it is.
It's like, huh? Go on, sorry.
it was such a weird like thing where it's, you know, they spent like something like $250 million just for the rights before they shot one frame of footage, and
Yeah.
they only got the rights to like the appendices and like, you know, the unfinished like other stories, so they couldn't use any of the classic characters. Now it's, you know, it's kind of rumored that like some of the characters might be some of the famous characters that we know, and I mean Galadriel's obviously in it, but when I started reading the kind of the fragments and the stories, I'm like, oh, there's actually some really interesting things in here about like Sauron and him corrupting, you know, these this race and the elves that got really angry about it, and the creation of the rings. And there's a lot of stuff in the stories that we haven't seen in the show yet. So I'm really hoping the show kind of picks up. Like, 'cause the show's okay. It's really, you got to be a Lord of the Rings fan to really, you know, enjoy it. It could be a lot better, and I'm hoping it kind of picks up in the second season.
Yeah, I hear what you mean. It's like, all right, I'm going to start coloring in Nexus right now. I think that's a great basic pose right there.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. Is she supposed to be really pale? It's kind of weird how her coloring is. Isn't she kind of purplish?
She's
Trying to see
definitely,
because she's usually in the spooky light, yeah, because she's a bad.
yeah. Because, you know, she's in her evil castle, so it'll be
Yeah.
the
Because Because I mean, I guess that's why you found her hot, because she's kind of a redhead too.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Why I'm
Does she
really
remind you of someone?
it's like this weird fucking sacrilege I'm doing with everybody. I'm sorry, but you know, you did pick Demon Bitch to do your. So there you go, right there.
My dog stepping a bee.
Wait, so it's like I'm doing that. Oh damn it! Hold on, let me pop this here. Let's see here.
There you go.
Come on,
Nice.
you. Okay, that's really red, but we'll figure it out. I think I might want to save that red for something else. Let me just do
That will look awesome for the shirt. As a red shirt, it's like the parody of Che Guevara shirt.
Oh god, I love it when college kids wear that shit. It's like they wear it and then they go like, "Do you realize what that stands for?" Che Guevara, man. I'm like, okay.
Well, you don't have to be. You don't have to worry about the color palette in the book. You want to put her in a different color outfit. That's perfectly fine as well.
No. Well, I just want to kind of. I know I'm thinking of the flames in the background, like that ethereal evil flame or some shit, and I'm trying to match
Totally.
it. Yeah. No, I'm gonna probably get rid of the whole thing, but yeah.
She's big with fire and flame magic for sure.
There you go.
And the caption reads, "Nexus was right."
Now, did you ever? I'm taking that you did play D&D, right? You're a fan of this genre, right?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Now,
so
I haven't played recently. I know it's hit like a resurgence. I have played board games, but I haven't gotten back into D&D, like all the new characters and rules. I've played more of the classic 80s and all of the those kind of books, Monster Manual, Player's Manual, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you know, the thing is that I actually liked playing D&D, but I was like but it's like I don't have time or the mental space for it right now. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like I just haven't like to sit down and actually do a fucking campaign. I'm just like, my brain hurts. I have other shit I got to take care of.
And I'm kind of getting like my fantasy fix for tabletop of like with Gloomhaven, some of the board games, because they don't need a dungeon master to kind of set everything up. Like the board kind of, the game takes care of the monsters and the fighting, so you could just kind of play with your buddies for like a session.
So it's a video game, right?
No, it's a
video
board game.
Oh, it's a board game. Cool.
It has like this weird, like kind of ingenious, you know, almost like an AI where the monsters move a certain way and then the monsters have cards, so you can just kind of focus on trying to kill them with your buddies instead of one guy's always trying to figure out what's going on behind the screen and, you know, fighting with everybody else.
Oh god, there was like this. Okay, so there was this one time my friend has a really controlling sister. We didn't like her because she's a bitch. But the story starts out typical.
I wonder if she made it into a strip. No,
she hasn't. She hasn't. But she was an asshole basically. But so what happened was that she was DMing and I wasn't there, but my friend told me about it. So what happened was that she goes like, okay, we go to this town, they welcome you, blah blah blah. There's a graveyard and there's an inn. And my friend said, well, I'm going to go explore that graveyard to see what's going on. She says, you can't do that. Okay, so you're went to go into this inn, and you know they offer to go and put your clothes and your armor in trunks very kindly, and they'll give you a great meal. Well, my friend's like, well, I really don't want to do that. I want to keep my stuff on. You can't do that. Okay, so pretty enough, there's monsters in his room, and it's full of monsters. And they said, well, and then finally at this point, he's like fucking fed up with her. He just has had enough, and he says, well, then guess what? My character jumps up on the windowsill and starts clucking like a chicken. You can't do that. Then he punches his heart and just falls over dead of a heart attack. You can't do that. So there you go. Having an asshole DM, like you're just done.
That kind of destroys the purpose of quote role-playing game, which means you can kind of do what you want.
I mean, I understand some things are shut up, but it's still like mobile storytelling in a way, you know. It's
you know, but stuff like what armor and what weapons and all of that stuff, you can control your own loadout for sure in role-playing games.
Yeah, I used to mud a lot too. That was basically me a lot of the time. So I kill like Pee Wee Herman and Smurfs and shit like that. Because it was based off, I guess, like the damage rolls and all that from the Gygax series and all that. So most of the stuff I did was basically online.
I'm not familiar with that variation where you kill
Oh,
PvP.
Mud is like multi-user domain, and
Uh-huh.
you run around and you fucking like draw stuff. Like it's kind of like based off the engine, except you just go into a town. It's text based, so you could copy paste and like alter the monsters anything you want. So
Oh.
obviously every mud would have a fucking Smurf village, so you can guess what you could do there. And then you can go in and like go to they had Pee-wee's Playhouse in there. Guess what, you could go there. This was not long after his embarrassing departure from TV after the kids show.
Right.
So there's that. And then there were other ones where they had I'm just trying to think what else. There were Pee-wee's Playhouse. They had like you could go to Olympus, things like that. They had some of their standard fare, like you could travel depending where you went. So I would like play on this mud called Cheesy Mud, and you just really would like go around there, and we like would lock ourselves in a room for over 8 hours and just mud all fucking day.
That's a great band name. If somebody has that band name, Cheesy Mud, I would go see
Yeah.
them.
There's also Puddle and Mud and everything too. So there's
Oh yeah.
yeah, but
Puddle
yeah.
of Mud.
Anyway, so how are things right now with the campaign? Have you teamed up with anybody and all that in terms of like any cross stuff that you got going on or anything new that you're offering with the Kickstarter?
Definitely doing some cross promotions. As far as new offerings, I got a bunch of pinup artists that I've been announcing. They're actually going to be doing pinups for the book. They've been very generous with their time. Some of the ones from Rise of the Kung Fu Dragon Master, but some of them are new. And then I'm going to be doing some cross promotions with what's that one that we're actually both working with, the Family Terror one.
Oh, Rob Christie, yeah. So you got in touch.
Rob's. I got in touch with Rob, and we're doing some cross promotion, and then I'll be working with Charlie Stickney next week for the Galarian launch, and then I've also doing some cross promotion actually outside of comics with a friend of mine who's doing an Akira documentary. So we're like, hey, there's still going to be
Akira documentary.
Yeah, there's still going to be crossover because I know fans of science fiction and fantasy. We all love Akira, so I'm curious to see how this goes.
Cool.
So, but yeah, so it's the rising tide raises all boats. So the more we can help each other in any way we can, it's all good. And get a couple of announcements, like Mark Wade posted about it today. So, nice. Trying to get like a couple more endorsements here and there. That always does a little bit of help. But we're fighting with the throttling, like we talked about earlier on social media. So that's you got to find more creative ways to get the word out and help each other.
Yeah, definitely. So, guys, this is the Kickstarter right now. I'm going to play the video. And if I suck at playing the video, I'm sorry. I don't do this that often. But, yeah, we'll definitely let me go ahead and play this video, and we're going to see how this is.
Hi, I'm Christie Shinn. I'm a writer, comedian, and podcaster. I know it's been a minute, but we're finally back with the sequel to Long Ago and Far Away. Long Ago and Far Away 2, Some Adult Humor, Part 1. I know, it's a lot of words. The sequel picks up 5 years after the events of Long Ago and Far Away. As a result of Jason's indiscretions with the Witch Queen, he now has a son. And since time passes differently in Elvenwood, his son, Lord Stone, is about 20 years older than Jason, and he's pretty angry about being abandoned by his father. Lord Stone also seems to have the entire sect of northern necromancers after him, due to him stealing their sacred blood dagger for meat money. They're powerful, quite angry, and are laying waste to Elvenwood to get to him, raising the dead as they go. And I couldn't be happier about taking this journey again with my longtime collaborator, artist Fernando Pinto.
Chris has drafted an amazing script that just puts the characters forward. It's funny, and not a lot of comics are funny these days, which is kind of weird, but this one is. It's going to be a blast. I've read the whole story, and you guys will not be disappointed.
Honestly, we're glad you're here, and need your help to make the sequel a reality and continue the story. So check out the project in more detail below, along with all of our cool rewards, and take a look at the catch-up tiers and add-ons if you missed Volume 1 or some of the other White Hat Entertainment books and want to get up to speed. Thanks again for your support, and be well.
Woo, didn't fuck up. And it's at 57%. So, guys, jump on that. We're going to go and look through the rewards, and you could talk to us about it. Here's like the amazing, beautiful fucking cover right here. That's amazing. And basically, hey, Mark Wade's endorsing this, so Fuck it, yeah. And it's like a really put together. So let's take it. We take it that like Jason and
Marla is his.
Marlon, thank you,
Yeah.
hooked up basically. They're
Yes.
together.
Mhm.
They're because she found him kind of hot in his chubbier
Yes.
form, earlier form, fighting
Mhm.
off a bunch of people. So I don't
Mhm.
want to get to it and do spoilers, but so this is them meeting the dad, and she finds out that you know, daddy has a baby. She's not
Yes.
happy about this, obviously. And then there's like the art's really good for that, and wow, Nexus's figure hasn't gotten fucked up either.
No, that's that's the magic of Elvenwood. So you can have a baby and you won't lose your figure. So
She did change her outfit though, like less of the
yes.
scoop
Mhm.
booby thing. So
And
yeah,
I always love too, like you always have good versus evil, but what if you have like two, evil characters butting heads? I always found that interesting too. Like sometimes that happened in the X-Men movies, but because Nexus and Warnock, the head of the Necromancers, they had a history together, and now she's coming after everyone to get to her son. So she's not happy about it. So they're gonna obviously be clashing as well.
so is it history or just history?
It's history with air quotes for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, you can't spend 10K like hundreds of years alone. So
Right.
the reward guide, talk to us about that. I figure like I would go up on here, but that might actually be kind of hard to read. But it's all available on the right. But this will give you kind of a great overview.
Yeah, there's digital and physical, and I wanted to make sure there were catch-up tiers, so in case you missed Volume 1, you could get it digitally or physically. And one of the things I wanted to do, the shipping's a little expensive. I know we got some feedback on that, but what I wanted to do with the shipping, because it's a little expensive, it's flat rate. So you can order extra books, you could order, the catch-up tiers, and it will never go up. So if you have 2 books or 8, it's going to be flat rate, including international and domestic. So, but also what I wanted to do too is if you just want the book, but then there's some add-ons too, like some of my stuff from my Comedy Film Nerds days or my parenting book, Pacify Me from Simon and Schuster. There's a bunch of other different things you could kind of add in addition to the White Cat Entertainment books. So there's tiers where you could get everything. There's tiers where you just want like one thing and then do like one add-on. I wanted to kind of make it as flexible as possible for people so they could just kind of get what they wanted. They could catch up, or if they just wanted less, they could get less.
That's cool. Yeah, like I found out because I think you and we did Kickstarter before they did add-ons, and it's actually made some things simpler because it's like
Yes.
you didn't need to make 10 million combinatorics as a rewards, and maybe people wouldn't do half of them. So at least you do
Right.
some major ones.
Yeah.
And there's
It could still use a little refining. Kickstarter's interface, like BackerKit, kind of has a little bit nicer, but Kickstarter, like is getting there. Like with the add-ons, like you want to make sure people know that they're there, because sometimes you don't see them until the end. But it's definitely getting there. And then I have a couple like special tiers at the end. One of them that Fernando and I talked about adding somebody into the book, because we've got these giant war scenes. People could be a knight, an elf. They could be a zombie, and we'll draw you into the book. That's the most expensive tier. And then we have like a royalty tier if you just want your name in the book. We will put it on the actually the wall of the tavern, and also on a page in the book. So there's a couple things if you want to be in the book, either your name or your image. There's ways to do that too.
That would be funny if the pinup that I did, like if if the illustrator like puts it in like as one of the side things in the volume. Like, God damn, your mom was hot. It's like that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That would be just funny. Not to like insert myself into every property. I just think that would be funny. It's like, what's this?
No, I think you should insert yourself in every property, Christy.
Oh my God. I see. This is the thing. I like the theatrical part of like doing these things, but it's like I feel kind of weird attention whoring every 5 minutes. Like it's like I'm Demon Bitch yet I'm not. But yeah, so these are the add-on guides. This like kind of illustrates. This shows like more of like more other books. So you have the pictures like the Pacify Me book. That's the parenting book. The Nerd's Guide to Movie. Sorry, I can't read. I think I need my glasses.
Nerd's Guides to Movie.
Yeah, and then there's I have this one. This is actually pretty funny. So you guys, like, his books are like an easy read. Like if you're kind of having a shitty day and you're just wanting to read and kick back, that's actually these are good books to have. But if you just want to kind of they're good, relaxing books. They're just funny.
Yes.
Like the comedy is very easy, and I don't mean that like it's simple. It's just like
Yeah.
okay, you could just get into the flow of it, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have stretch goals, you have 16,000 sketch pages in pinup gallery,
Mm-hmm.
20K you hit bookmarks and magnet pack, and 25K 4x6 art cards designed by Fernando Pinto with every physical order. And,
Now, we did cheat, and we were going to have the pinup gallery anyway because the artists were like, no, we want to contribute. I'm like, all right, this is awesome. So we got a bunch of artists contributing pinups. So people are going to get that anyway.
Okay, well, there you go. And hey, Nexus is pointing at it, so it means something,
Yes.
right?
Exactly.
And then you get like where the money goes and stuff. And hey, that you outline that great as a pie chart. I kind of gloss over them for myself because it reminds me of the times when I worked in corporate. And that was soul sucking. So there you go. And then shipping and true cost and timeline,
the usual kind of, the small print that we always put in the campaigns. Here's what's really going on, and why does shipping cost so much?
Yeah, it's like, this is we're serious, and this is what I've noticed. It's so funny. Shipping rates did actually go down. Like, this is what I've explained to people. But the problem is the packing material went up, so it doesn't really matter. That's what sucks.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what sucks. It's just like, that's bad. It's like
we tried to save money on a campaign where we were trying to do media mail because books are media mail. It's anything that's a book, DVD, CD, and but when you ship something media mail, it literally either gets lost or damaged most of the time. Like, well, this is completely useless then. The whole point was to get it cheaper, but if it's not going to get there intact, it's literally worthless. So you have to send it either first class, priority, or or flat rate.
Yeah. So it's just like, as I said, it's at 57%, guys. It's got 11 days to go. Jump on that shit, guys. It's great. You got to go and hit that while it's hot. Plus, you get the sexy Nexus picture, so you can't.
Exactly.
You can't, like, I mean, come on.
Bonus.
Right? It's just like, yeah, and like she has baby daddy and stuff. Like,
Yes.
It's kind of funny because what I found funny about it is, like, when I was reading in the book after their time together, I've noticed, like, it's funny because she actually started just exhibiting the signs of pregnancy very quickly. Like, literally, like
You are the father.
Yeah.
pretty much. And she's like, you don't recognize me, Dad? It's like, you're supposed to? I didn't know you did. So he has to deal with daddy issues.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Although that would have been kind of interesting if he was a girl and had to deal with daddy issues, but that would have opened a whole other can
That
of
too.
Yeah, there's a scene too when they actually go in the second book where they go back to Elvenwood and they have to all kind of go together on quests, and Nexus basically says, like, oh no, you're going with your father. And then Marla is like, well, why am I being punished? And Marla, and Nexus goes, well, you're the stepmother. And she's like, this is getting weirder and weirder.
Because it's like, technically, like, they're 30 while the son's like probably in his 50s.
50,
right?
yeah, he's 50, yeah.
So it's like that's really weird in itself too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the evil Nexus. Let me go ahead and
Evil
do the
Nexus.
skin color. Yeah, Nexus is
Why
evil.
does she kind of looks like AH?
Like, there you go. I'm kind of down in the nether regions here. That area right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to make her kind of a little bit more colored in the flesh tones right here to stick out. People say, oh, how do you color? You must have this magical style as a comic book artist. I'm like, no.
It's a little bit of magic. It's
I just like it because it's like, oh, you must flat like perfect lines. I'm like, no. it gets the job done. I mean, it's
I'll
kind
tell
of
you
fun.
that digital art, it's so much quicker too. Like, I noticed, like, my artist, he does digital, and he can get panels and layouts done really, really quickly.
Because you don't have to redraw all of them. That's
Right,
the thing that's
right.
huge. And the thing is that I don't need anything that makes me more neurotic than I need to be. So, so like with me, I really dislike redrawing everything in pen. I can draw with pen, but I can draw figures with pen. I don't really like drawing comic panels with pen and ink because, like, my hand actually tends to shake sometimes. And it's like the time that I would spend drawing every single fucking panel, I'll just go and do this. But yeah, so here we go. Nexus in all her glory right here.
And you never use a pencil?
I've used a pencil. I mean, It's more of like drawing the straight lines. Like when people tell me I can't be an artist, I can't draw straight lines, I'm like, it's like, don't talk to me about that, dear. So yeah, but yeah, so I'm just drawing Nexus right here. And that's funny, she has a different sexy outfit, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's funny how Marla was like, why am I being punished?
Yeah.
Calls him a pig too. You fucking pig kind of thing.
Yeah, that's it. One of the jokes I put in like the digital revision for when Marla gets kidnapped by Nexus at the beginning of Volume 1. When she first sees her, she's like, "Well, nice outfit. Did you get it in a cosplay fire?"
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
It's like, you get in a cosplay fire, she gets all pissed at her.
Yeah.
She's like, silence.
Yes.
It's kind of funny because she's a very, not formulaic villain, but just like some of the things that she says, it's very He-Man.
Yes.
You know, like He-Man, very fellow. Like,
Very
I
classic villain, classic like villain, and you are all beneath me. You're all my servants, and if you're not, you will be soon, and you will all be doing my bidding.
And I will zap you.
Yes.
We would make jokes often about like He-Man and Skeletor, like Skeletor and Beastman, in this weird abusive homoerotic relationship a lot of the time. We're bad, my friends and I.
Well,
like CKY came out with this thing called Skeletor and Beastman, so you know, you can only guess what that's about. But it's funny because it's like now they're making He-Man all super serious and he's like really having fights, which is actually cool. I mean, the fights are cool, but I just miss that kind of hokiness about He-Man.
And Prince Adam.
Yeah, that was very codified. I will say that. Like when I got home, like when I was a little girl, I was like, why is Adam wearing lavender and pink? That doesn't make sense. Because, you know, you're used to girls and boys' toys kind of looking a certain way. I said, why is he dressed like a girl's toy? And then later on, you're like, oh.
With the exact same physique in a different outfit. Yeah.
Yeah. Like at least in the new He-Man, they make an effort to make him look different. Like it's an actual transformation from a kid to an actual He-Man.
More like Shazam.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it is? Or he just takes out the sword, or how does that go?
It's yeah, so I think that it's just trying to make that kind of differentiation like you were talking about, not just a different shirt.
Yeah, like he's actually like a little boy. Like, well, not a little boy, but he's like 14 or something, so he's not developed. But I just think it's funny.
Sound like a teenager.
Yeah, like 14. He looks more.
Well, Kevin Smith's version kind of turned everything on its ear, and like I think at the beginning just kind of like killed He-Man at the beginning, and there was a lot of weird stuff going on in the Kevin Smith version. I think that got picked up by like another season because there was literally multiple He-Man cartoons that came out at the same time on Netflix.
Yeah, but I think on this one, the Kevin Smith version, it's like, haha, I'm not dead. That just kind of happened, and
right.
It was like this whole weird thing. So it was like, okay, so we start off with Eternia getting taken over, but it really wasn't, and okay, and now we're confused, and all right,
wait, is Skeletor gone too? What's going on here? It's this is not the He-Man I remember.
I mean, the original thing of Keldar, or Skeletor, as people call him. Like I just always heard of him as Skeletor, and then when I found out his name was actually Keldar, and he was like actually his face got burned off and stuff. And like,
see, I don't even know that backstory. That's hilarious. Like that
there
was
actually
more.
Yeah, there was actually that part of the backstory, but they made it so fucking goofy that it's like they just decided to just go with it and stuff. It was funny. So it was really hilarious. It was like, yeah, so it's just like I liked it how I don't know who they got to voice Skeletor, but it was always really fucking funny because it was like Skeletor just sounded like a bitch all the time. But that was the form of Skeletor, you know? I think he died or something. No, the guy's still alive.
Well, the original, yeah, I'm not sure, but I know that I think Kevin Smith got like Mark Hamill to do it for the remake.
Yeah, He-Man. I mean, he is from the 70s, and you know, like there's that. So, I mean, he did the iconic voice of the Joker. At first, I was kind of like not sure when the animated series for Batman came out, but it was actually really good. Like how he did the Joker. Yeah, so now
ended up being like super iconic, where it's like, oh well, that's now you just hear that voice and like, oh, that's the Joker.
Yeah, and like I don't know who they're gonna have Kevin replace Kevin Conroy because he passed away.
I know. Yeah,
He was
that's
really good. Yeah, like he voiced everything, and now they have to find another one that's just as iconic, which is,
Just
in
as
my
iconic
opinion,
as Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Role
weird.
for the Joker.
But he was like really quiet about it because like when he died, it was like they said he died of cancer. I'm like, what? And everybody was confused. And then it's like, but people noticed like he actually had been kind of a sort of a robust looking dude. He was never really big, like muscular, but he was more muscular. But over a period of time, he actually got thinner and thinner. And we thought, oh, it's probably age. And it's like, no, it was cancer. And I'm like, that was messed up. So I wonder who's going to be part of who's going to do the voice of Batman now. And also, the woman that played Harley Quinn, she passed away.
Oh,
too.
yes,
yeah.
that's true. She recently passed away.
Original Harley Quinn.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because it's like at first I got confused if it was like a much older lady, like she was in her 80s or something, and she played like she was one of the ones. But I got confused because like there was this one lady in Roger Rabbit. Obviously, she's long passed away because Roger Rabbit was made in '88. But I remember the woman they interviewed, like they got all the voice actors and actresses from like frickin' Bugs Bunny to Woody Woodpecker, and they had Betty Boop, and they actually still found the old lady that did Betty Boop's voice, like boop boop beep doop boop, like that. Like, but she was the original voice for this character. Yeah, and then there's
Is this
that
like
whole,
for like when they got them all together for Roger Rabbit too?
yeah, that was actually kind of cool. Because they got a bunch of people that like Mel Blanc Sr. was still alive. Of course, his son took over. Now I don't know if anybody else is slated to take over, but he was the voice of Bugs Bunny too.
Yeah, and you know, I remember reading all that trivia of like there were certain rules that they had for the cartoon characters. Like Bugs Bunny could only appear with Mickey Mouse if they had the same amount of screen time. Like there was like these weird things like Warner Brothers and Disney were not gonna have one up the other on their main characters.
It was like they were two divas, like no bitch.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like when you look at if you look at oh damn it, I'm trying to think. If you look at like two divas like Mariah Carey and Celine Dion, like would they fight to like have the equal screen time and all that other stuff because they're both known as divas in their own rights, which is
surprise
very
me. Yeah.
Well, I mean now like I think even remember that show like back in the day called Divas with MTV when they still did music and stuff.
Yeah.
So like Diva right there, and it was weird because they had Aretha Franklin when she was still alive, and nobody could question her. It was like kind of crazy. Like you reach a certain level of age, and know how and like experience in your career, and like nobody questions you. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of cool, but it's kind of like whoa.
Yeah, I don't know. We should all be so lucky to get to that level where I'm gonna do what I want. No one question me.
No questions asked.
Yeah.
That would be good. I think Jim Lee's kind of hit that in a way too. I'm thinking with comics in general.
George Lucas hit it, but then he sold everything. So.
Yeah, and then he said, "Fuck you guys. You guys all complain about everything anyway."
Yeah.
I don't know though. I think he still is a creative consultant, isn't he?
There's no question that they probably talk to him periodically, or show him stuff and get his thoughts on things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I doubt he's completely out of the loop.
No, that's his baby. That's his creation.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see here. Yes, I'm a moderately bad girl. I'm not a completely bad girl, but I'm kind of moderately bad. That's what I'm getting from this thing. And again, as it's like, yes, she is evil, but I just think it's kind of funny with Nexus how she's like evil, but she's kind of evil, but not completely evil, but she's evil, like textbook evil.
Yes.
Like, moo ha ha ha, I'm going to go and destroy everybody in the world. And okay, well, kind of. Like I can be somewhat reasonable. Like, even though that was like, I think you were probably, I kind of have a feeling you were sort of joking about 50 Shades of Grey when they write that whole contract before she sleeps with him to get the sword.
Yeah.
It's like a joke on that. I picked up on that. I was like, oh my God, that's funny. And she's like, you have to say that I'm the best in the world. And I'm like,
yeah.
And he just like, he basically like just like jumps her basically.
Yeah.
And it's funny how you wrote that scene, because some people could be like, "Oh, it's problematic." It's like, okay, there's some scenes that are just fucking funny, Like
Yeah.
that was a good lampoon of that type of scene.
It also the undercurrent is that she's the one that has the power. He's just a buffoon, and it goes through like the femme fatale of the ones who use sex as a weapon, and they're always the ones in control, even though the guy thinks he is, and it's not the case. It's the woman
That
that's
is
always in the control and makes the choice
Yeah.
and the manipulation.
Yeah, I mean, there's that factor too. I mean,
Mhm.
power is never just a one-sided thing. Sometimes, like, you have to kind of look at it at both ends, right? Although it's funny because, like, I remember in my I took silent film in film school, and they talked about the vamp, like with the heavy eye makeup and
Yeah.
stuff,
Uh-huh.
and it was
Really?
almost to a point where it was ludicrous, like Teta Vera and all that. And it turned out that, like, apparently they said, well, what killed off the vamp? It's like, well, the vamp kind of killed herself, because it was like it just got too ridiculous. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there we go on that. So how do we like the hair coloring here, guys?
Oh dang.
Yeah.
There you go. Because I noticed her hair. Yeah, her hair is a different shade of red than anything else. So there you go.
Add a little green eyes, and there you go.
Does she have green eyes? It's kind of hard to tell.
Yep.
She's more brown eyes. Nexus. Yeah, she has more of like the same. She kind of has reddish eyes. I mean,
Oh,
she is evil and magical, so there you go. Why wouldn't she have evil eyes? Yeah,
a red-haired, red-eyed. What the hell?
well, I mean, that's probably why it's like, oh, you're actually really hot. I'm like,
and that's her specialty is flame magic, so it makes perfect sense.
have you ever seen Fire Elsa? That's actually pretty funny too.
Fire elf.
No, I haven't
Fire Elsa. Fire Elsa.
I haven't.
Oh, Elsa.
Oh, like there's like a fire version of Elsa. Sometimes people go around like for Frozen instead of the ice version, they go for the fire version.
Oh.
Oh,
I
like a
haven't seen that.
lava. Molten lava.
Yeah. So let's see here.
Instead of saying "Let it go," you might as well saying "Let it burn."
They've done heavy metal versions of that. They've done guy versions of that. I get bored and I go on the ass end of YouTube sometimes. That probably describes why I'm like kind of a crazy artist, I guess. I don't know.
I think I've seen the heavy metal versions of it.
Really?
Oh, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'm just seeing here real quick. Doo-doo. Oh no. Hey, why aren't you? So how did you find San Diego Comic-Con, Chris?
Well, I've been going there for years, so it was certainly nothing different. The only thing that I found really funny is everyone's like, "Well, the celebrities aren't going to be there. Will Comic-Con in San Diego survive?" And I just started rolling my eyes and laughing. Comic-Con's going to be just fine. There's literally 1 million people that go there every single year. They're not going to change a flight because, Robert Downey Jr. or somebody is not going to be there. And the one thing I did notice is the floor was actually more crowded than normal because, people weren't lining up for Hall H. But, Comic-Con was just fine, with the actors pulling out. And it's the thing about Comic-Con is, as you know, is it can be hard to navigate because it's so big and so crowded. But, you always kind of find friends that are there and, you hang out and you have a good time. I can't be there for the whole time because it's too much. So I usually go from like a Wednesday to Friday and avoid like the Saturday. But I've never had a table there. So I was curious how you found it as far as like having a table there for the whole weekend.
I would say that I liked it because I got
Mhm.
more sales out of it. It was
Okay.
probably the best Comic-Con that I've been to. And
Mhm.
what was great about that con is that I really liked it was like, yeah, there were more people, but it wasn't like all of a sudden, fuck, we have to get to H, and it just clogs up the whole.
Right.
That's the thing. That's like
Mhm.
Comic-Con can kind of sometimes be the thing where it's too many people and it can be too crazy, if that
Right.
makes sense.
Yes, for
And that's
sure.
what-
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I kind of got to a point where I just didn't like it. I was like, fuck that. Oh, here's E-Man's Word of Geek. World of Geek. Hey, E-Man, how's it going? Went to SDCC for the first time this year. Went from Friday 7. I'll never go on a Saturday again because it was too nuts, but the energy was amazing. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the panels were more packed, but it was like I was at the Splattergore panel. I was on there. And I got to say, I still like when they announced Demon Bitch and everybody cheered. I felt that was magical. That was my Cinderella moment right there.
It's pretty awesome.
But yeah, that whole time was my Cinderella moment there. But it was like, but yeah, it's like there were a lot of people there, but it was just like the crowd was more laid back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they weren't all rushing to Hall H, because the problem with SDCC sometimes is that they have so many people that they cram all up in there, and then they try to like run in like every time there's a big Hollywood panel, and that's fine. But you know, it's like there are three things: you're either a vendor, you're an attendee, or you attend panels. That's you do one of each. You can't do all three.
And once you get into Hall H, you stay there, like because then you just because they don't clear the rooms between panels, so people just kind of like park once they're there.
Yeah, and I never was a fan of that, so I kind of got to a point where I just didn't want to deal with that anymore. So it's like, but at the same time, this one was more crowded, but the traffic was more even.
Right.
Like it wasn't as rushed or gnarly as everything else.
For sure. Yeah, we'll see what happens next year. But
yeah.
Well, I actually have to go and pick up my son from school, but thank you for having me, Christy. Yeah. And I'll tell you, this pinup looks fantastic. Thank you so much. It
You're
looks
welcome.
really awesome.
Thank you. I'm going to add some shading into it, and then I'll finish it up and I'll send it to you later on today.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah. And Q, great meeting you.
Nice meeting you too, Chris.
So, all right. Well, bye, guys. Thanks again.
You're welcome.
Bye.
All right. Have a great time. Bye-bye. So, E-Man, yeah, definitely. It was like definitely on the floor instead of the panels due to strikes. It was that. The actors could show up. They just could not talk about current subjects. But the problem is that some of the older shows got put on Netflix and they're streaming. So some of like there's this one guy like on Suits, and it's not a current show, but they were running it. But he reminisced about it, and he got into kind of trouble. So he had to apologize and pull it back because it was actually an older show, but it was currently run on Netflix. It was really kind of weird with a lot of the artists and stuff. So let me just see.
So weird.
So I am waiting for the next guest, and hopefully he will be on there.
Hopefully Preston Maddox will show up, but I think he won't make it, maybe because he's tired or so. We don't know.
Well, yeah, he's in fucking Norway, right?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to have another guest on there to kind of throw it up there, but we'll see. How about you guys? How are you guys doing? I'm going to go for probably another. Oh, by the way, I'll go and throw this up on here. I know like there's some commentary, but Long Ago and Far Away, check that out, you know. Let's see here. Long Ago and Far Away. Check this out of Chris's. He's really cool, and you're going to get this pin up right here. And then we got Demon Bitch, I Hate You All right here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I think this is a perfect time to run a sponsor. How about you? So I'm going to.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
We'll do the sponsor.
Let's do that. Let me run a sponsor right now. There we go. There you go.
Hold on just a sec.
Yeah. So guess what, guys?
Hold on just a sec.
Okay, well, I'm talking to the guys really quick. So, yeah, hold on. I'm talking to my guest right now.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so we're waiting for the other guy right now and everything. So, yep. So I'm going to start shading it while we're doing this. So James should be on in a minute. He's got a Kickstarter ending in about a week. Luckily, I've got about 2 weeks right now to do it, and I'm at $5,000, 5,010. Guys, keep throwing that shit up on there and keep sharing it and all that, and hey. But E-Man, that's cool. Like, yeah, it was more crowded, but it wasn't as clotted because San Diego Comic-Con is just immensely clotted.
Was it because due to the strike?
It was because of the strike, yeah.
2 strikes, writer strike and an acting strike. My gosh.
Well, the writers' strike, they've ratified the thing. So they're out of a strike officially, I think, from what I've understood. But then now the actors are still striking. So we'll see how that's going on.
Jeez. All is because of that crazy AI thing and all that.
Yeah, I'm telling Chris that I have I like talking shit about elves, and Q disappeared. So yeah, well, that's good right there. Sorry, I'm just like looking at that, and I'm sharing this up into. I've just got a lot of shit going on. That's all I gotta say. So yeah, so yeah, I'm supposed to get somebody on here.
Sorry, the internet was being a dog.
No, it's cool. So I guess we'll wait for the other guy to come on. So let's see here. So we got this, this, and this. Okay, so yeah, I'm very happy at how things are going on, man. It's like 5K I broke.
You got 5K.
I'm at 5K now, 5,010. So I'm at 83% funded. So the rest of it's going pretty quickly right now. Which character is this? This is Nexus. This is part of Long Ago and Far Away. Basically pinup that I'm doing as a favor for Chris. So yeah, there we go. He's a real nice guy, really cool guy to work with. But yeah. Oh, okay. So the other person, James, is his computer's being a bitch. So I can understand that. So my computer was being a bitch yesterday too. I had to reboot my fucking computer too.
Dang it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's kind of annoying, I think.
Yeah.
Let me look at my open rate and feel better about myself. Ooh, my open rate's great. I've actually liked it ever since I changed my newsletter to Substack because I think what's better is that it opens up more for people. So that's kind of good.
Cool. How are the cats?
They're doing good. Spam's doing stupid shit sometimes as usual. You know how he is. He's around. He's doing cat things right now.
Okay.
Broke 5K. I am happy.
And Ink?
Ink's about.
Mm-hmm.
Ink's around. She's doing whatever. She's just being a bitch as usual. She's in her own bitchy, pissy mood right now.
Can't wait to go. Can't wait to go.
Let's see here. Ah, here's James. Let's get James on here. Hey, James, what's up?
Hey, guys. Sorry about that. I was having some technical issues there.
Oh, no, that's okay, man. Just sometimes, like, I don't know what it is about computers. Sometimes, like, I've run into that too. Like, when I've tried to get on, like, when I try to get on an appointment, and all of a sudden Zoom decided to go and say, hey, fuck you, I get to update, and then all this other shit, and it's really stupid. But anyway.
Yeah, the thing is, anyway, I barely use my computer. I just use it to draw. And then for some reason, it doesn't connect to the internet randomly, even though I was just on YouTube.
What a weird fucking thing. No, I get you on that because I was like, what's going on and stuff. So how you doing, man? You're a great supporter in the indie community. You're like always sharing and shit and everything. You know,
Oh
you've
yeah,
always been.
you know, as of tomorrow, it'll be 4 years since I've had a stroke, and that really woke
Wow,
me up. Yeah, that really woke me up to being really positive and just embracing trying to help people in general.
well, that's good. It's better than being angry all the time.
Right.
I'm just joking. So like right now,
Well,
I'm
no,
illustrating.
it's kind of like your vibe. It's cool.
You know, the funny thing is, I'm not as angry as I used to be, but it's like kind of a joke, kind of more of like being as angry as I am, or something like, oh, you should be always angry. It's like anger is beautiful, but it's like, you know, honestly, it's like you kind of have to kind of deal with anger smart. You know, like you can't have externalized anger where it fixates on things, but at the same time, you have to have anger where anger is due. And I think as a result, a lot of people just hyperreact over everything. We've noticed.
Oh yeah,
So
that's true.
so James, I'm going to go show off your work, and I will be putting up links to your thing. So James is another guy that has a Kickstarter, and that's got a week to go. So guys, jump on that if you can. I'll put in the links right here. But I offered to do it because I'm like, ah, shit, you need some. It's like I am totally down for helping you. So here you go. I'm going to make sure this works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to showcase your Kickstarter in a little bit. So guys, just go ahead and take a look at his Kickstarter. It's 7 more days. He doesn't have that much to go. It's like 500, 400 bucks. So just throw down some and help it get it going. I mean, it's not that far to go. Let's see here. I'm going to go and play it. Let me go and do the smart thing and actually like put yours up here. And I'll show you more of the artwork and you can go ahead and talk about it. How about that?
Sure. Sounds
Okay.
good.
Let me go ahead and do that. And you just came on because like my first guest had to leave at 1 to pick up his son. So there you go. All right. So we're going to go and play this and then we will ask questions. Oh, do you have a video or just no?
No, I don't even have a video. It's just a bare bones kind of a Kickstarter.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So talk about Papa Balloon and Cactus. What's it about?
It's basically a comic that I created about 11, 12 years ago, like 2010. In fact, there's an old issue that I published back, but I was working a day job at that point, and it was like having a second job and not getting paid for it. So, after my health issues recently, I really decided to really push it. Well, let me start that over. Like when I had the first stroke, like I could not say it. This is my drawing hand. Now, as you can see, everything's fine. But at the
Right.
time, I couldn't draw. I couldn't write my name. I was in pretty bad shape. So, like, I decided at that point, I can't take it for granted what my gifts are anymore. Like, if I
Yeah.
can regain the ability to draw and all that, I've got to just go for it and make it all about accomplishing actual childhood goal, which was to do comic books. Excuse me.
No, I totally get you on that. So let's see here. So what's Papa Balloon about? Like,
It's
that's
about a balloon and a cactus, like an anthropomorphic kind of character. Like one of them is an angry balloon fathery figure, and the other one is kind of almost an overly optimistic cactus.
hmm,
And
Okay.
they're kind of friends. Maybe sometimes they're like adopted father and son, but
hmm.
Papa Balloon is actually everyone's father actually in the series.
Oh.
Uh-huh. So who is Princess Popo right here? I'm guessing that's her up on here.
That's Princess Popo. She
Uh,
is a rock and roll princess, and she's a bit of a brat. She's an illiterate.
Really?
Like the only thing she reads is Guns and Ammo magazine. So
any
that kind of
particular
sums
reason
up her
why?
personality.
Any particular reason why she reads that? Is it just because like she just likes guns or something?
Pretty much, it's kind of like she's everything you shouldn't like.
Wow. Random shit. Hey, random shit. I'm totally about random shit. Random shit is awesome. Like I
Yeah,
can't crap all over random shit right now. Hold
and
on.
that's the beauty of it.
Oh God, I'm sneezing a lot. Anyway, so
Bless
let's
you.
see. Yeah, thank you. So here's some of the
No problem.
artwork on here, and I'll showcase more because James did show me did send me actually images of the artwork. But it's like,
Okay.
okay, so there's shortly. So this is actually you drawing this stuff, right?
Yeah,
Right here
that's
after.
right. It's
Wow,
all
you really
drawn and
a
written
lot.
by me.
So it's written and drawn by you.
Yeah.
That's kind of awesome. So yeah, you've recovered well from the stroke, at least drawing wise. I mean, that's good. I mean,
I
I don't know
appreciate it.
how you're.
Thank you.
Yeah, like it's got a good thing on that. So it's like, so you have this. So it's like, so essentially, what are the rewards here? Is it just basically all three issues? And we got pop. So you got the all three issues right here, the PDFs, right? And
Oh, yeah, that's
then
right.
Papa Balloon and Cactus 3, that's like an actual PDF for the newest one, right?
That's
And who's the
actually
woman
the
right?
issue itself.
Yeah, the issue. So this is the one that you have to do. And the Papa Balloon, so this is the actual anthology for all of them, right?
Well, no, the anthology is actually a non-related project. I have about 8 pages in this anthology. It's an 80-page book. It's written by Bianco Alumar and drawn by Peters. He does comics first, and Awakening Comics is one of his projects as well. It's actually a very good series, very positive little series,
Oh, nice.
almost an all ages kind of book.
This one right here. Who's the woman in here?
Yeah, that's right. I couldn't tell you. That's actually like related more to them to than a story.
So you got Dave Sim to do the cover, right? Is
Oh
that
yeah,
him?
yeah, yeah. That's right.
Oh, cool.
He was pretty generous. He's actually done covers in the past as well.
Oh, wow.
In
So
fact,
how come?
as of
How did you go on? Sorry.
no, I was gonna say as of yesterday, I've got Richard Friend doing the current issues cover.
Oh, nice, nice. So
Yeah.
what happened? So this would be of the book. So the new issue. This is a variant cover then.
That's actually a generic placeholder cover. The purple background cover,
Okay. Okay, that
and
sounds good.
the other cover is some cover.
Okay, so that's another Dave Sim of Cerebus right there. So mega
That's
thing is
actually the cover to issue number 2.
okay. So this is the cover to issue number 2. This is the comic store value pack, and then there's the Dave Sim 2 case cover.
Oh
So
yeah, that's actually supposed to say Chase. I messed that up. So
oh, okay, okay. So so basically, what's in the newest adventures of Papa Balloon and Cactus 3 and Cactus? Sorry, Papa
well,
Balloon and Cactus.
number 2 led off with them just searching for Princess Popo and coming up short, and then at the very end they find out that my fake Mickey Mouse character has been withholding this information. Oh, he's a slumlord, actually, quite appropriate to what Mickey Mouse is these days. He's like a slumlord, and he decides to basically use the knowledge of where to blackmail them so he could profit off of finding her. But they are onto his little plan, and as of number 3, they actually it turns out upon meeting her, she's a piece of shit. So.
Oh wow, so she's just an asshole. Okay, that works. Never meet your heroes, then.
Oh yeah, they've been searching her for issue 1. So
So why are they searching for her? Is it just like, is she? What importance does she have?
there's a frog character. He's actually recruited everybody to try to find her. He was actually her tutor, like hired by the king to basically try and straighten her out. But instead, they decided to join a punk rock band together.
Okay.
So that frog is kind of like the Obi-Wan Kenobi type
Yeah,
kind of
but he
guy.
was kind of like a Obi-Wan can no way, you know.
I'm pretty sure he's like fuck that shit, you know. So he's just like kind of like a weird misadventure thing about it, right?
Yeah, he's kind of like an unreliable narrator figure. Like he says everything about Princess Popo that everybody relies on, but almost none of it is true.
So it's just like, oh yeah, it's like this. He kind of reminds me of I forgot the guy in Candide, the guy that was the doctor or the professor, and like he said a bunch of bullshit, and then finally at the end of the book, they're like, well, if you didn't do this, this, and this, you wouldn't have this. He says, okay, well, we're gonna go and do things now. You know, it's like he's just realizing that all the philosophy is kind of stupid bullshit, basically.
Right. It's been a while since I've read Voltaire. I'm sorry, but I kind of remember that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I haven't read it in a while, but I just remember like Professor Pangloss, and he was saying like, oh yeah, if you didn't do this and that and the other thing, then you wouldn't have done this. And he's like, yeah, well, we're gonna go work in the garden now. It's just like we're gonna go do this now. Bye. You know, it's like kind of like, you know, he's not interested in all the bullshit that he got fed. It's just like, okay, well, we're just gonna go and work in the garden right now. That's all we're gonna do.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, guys, support it and stuff. I'm working on Nexus. This was our earlier guest stuff right there. Oh, let me go ahead and go to brand right here. So it's like, so these are the close-ups, and this is what, James, you drew yourself, right?
Yeah, right.
Nice, nice. And then
the first image is obviously an homage to Madman, and then the second is Cerebus, and then the Silver Surfer, and Ninja Turtle, and then Hulk Hogan.
yeah, there you go. It kind of looks like Tom Watterson in the last one.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
And then we got, oh god, that's like Mickey Mouse. If you smack a bitch up, never tell her the prince. So what style is this? So what style is that?
That's just my style. He's just a creepy jerk. So
creepy jerks. Those are fun.
Yeah, and I think we can all relate to those.
Let's see here, and then let's see. I've met those in my time, but usually you have this thing called a taser, and they go away. So this is Popo. So she's
oh
just
yeah, that's Popo.
Yeah, so she's just basically, what is she supposed to do anyway?
Oh well, she just travels around and sings, but she also has an intense drug problem, which will be featured later on in the series. The frog also has a drug problem. That's why he's an unreliable narrator.
So what kind of drugs are they attached to?
Just wondering.
Well, kind of generic at this point. I haven't really established what they're using, but I think they used a pill or something in the first issue.
Like, ecstasy.
So the hilarity of drug addiction, basically, we're looking at, right?
Say again, I'm sorry.
I said the hilarity of drug addiction, right?
It's sad but true.
I mean, sometimes dark humor goes there. I mean, as I said, I have friends that are former addicts and all that. So, but it's like they kind of make fun of this shit too. So it's like, you know, you just got to go and kind of roll with it, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
it is kind of
bestie.
Go on.
I'm sorry.
Go on.
I was gonna say my bestie moved to California for to restart her life after a heroin addiction.
Oh yeah, that's always tough to deal with. Yeah, I totally get you on that.
Yeah, it was a rough period. Hey, it is what it is. You know, she's got 2 kids, and she's pretty happy with the dude she's with. So.
Hey, you know what? I'm all for people changing, man. It's all good.
Sure. And she was like 20 at the time, and she just knew that, you know, it was time.
Yeah, sometimes people, like, you know, they just know inherently, like, what's good for them and what's not. So there you go.
Really?
So, yeah, definitely. So what's going on with the next one? So Princess Popo, how big are these? How big, like, how many pages are they going to get as well? Like, how many pages are each book?
I think looks like the camera got froze.
Oh yeah, so James is kind of experiencing some computer issues right now. So let's just talk about the drawing right now when he's able to come back. So let's go ahead and do that. So yeah, I'm calling him Nexus, and we're gonna wait until we're gonna wait until he comes back and he's able to talk and all that stuff. So it'll be good.
Oh, cool.
You know, this kind of reminds me of He-Man for some fucking reason. Oh,
Oh
he
yeah.
dropped off.
She-Ra.
Well, yeah, the old school He-Man, you know. I liked actually the Princess of Power shit. That was actually
Oh
really
yeah.
cool. She-Ra, She-Ra, like the fucking video and shit.
Hmm. Man, it's been a while that I used to watch He-Man when I was a dude, a little dude.
It's like the honor of Grayskull.
By the
He-Man.
power of Grayskull,
No,
I have the power.
like that hero, by the honor of Grayskull.
Oh, in honor of Grayskull.
By the honor of Grayskull.
He-Man.
He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. I'm He-Man, you know, and he'd have like this fucking like big ass voice like that.
The first time I heard the He-Man was a long time ago. When was it? Around the 90s,
Yeah,
early
they brought him
90s.
back for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was when when my like sister and I would play video game on old computer video games, DOS of Prince of Persia, and
Oh
when
yeah, I
he
remember
picked
that.
up a sword, hey,
Hey James, welcome back. I know you with computer issues, right?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah,
That's
go
all
ahead
right.
and
I know.
continue. I'm sorry about that. I don't mean to interrupt upon my return.
Well, you're one of the guests, so there you go. Like, you know, by all means. We were just talking about He-Man and the Masters of the Universe and stuff, and like how there was She-Ra and all that, and they brought that back.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if I like the new rendition of She-Ra. It's like I think they just deliberately kind of made it not really good, not really attractive. I mean, I know they weren't trying to make it super sexy, and that's fine, but I don't know if I really got into it, really.
yeah. I didn't even bother with the new one myself, but I remember, believe I mentioned before to you in conversation that my favorite design is Hordak. I think that's a really cool looking villain.
The new one or the old one?
The original.
Yeah. Well, the point is he
Swordad.
was supposed to like he captured Adora when she was little, and now I've got the song He-Man. Wasn't Hordak? Didn't he kind of make Skeletor his bitch for a while?
Possibly. I barely remember anything. I just remember the design, really.
Right. I actually like the design from Filmation. I kind of miss it too.
Yeah.
It's classic, and classic
for
never
sure.
dies.
Right. He-Man. Now I'm getting like in the Masters of the Universe. I'm He-Man. It was like this mighty voice.
And every time when that series when the episode ends, he always gives us a few tips of remember kids, do this and that, do this and that until next time, and drove off.
Yeah, now it's like all these fucked up like Skeletor memes now too, which is hilarious as well.
Till next
Like,
time.
till next time, kids. It's like, and they'll say something really fucked up, and it's like, ah.
And the Skeletor's farewell wave saying is until we meet again.
Until next time, He-Man. I just liked it how they did He-Man like that. It's like He-Man.
Yeah, wasn't the voice of Skeletor the same voice as Starscream from Transformers?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No.
I know it was Cobra Commander. He was Cobra Commander for a while.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I remember.
They had the same bitch voice too.
Yeah, for sure.
Bitch boy.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, Starscream kind of had a bitch voice.
Yeah, they definitely lozenge.
Yeah,
Bitch
right.
voice.
They had a bitch voice. Like it's like a bitch voice right there. It's like He-Man. It was just stupid. Like He-Man, like it was just silly as shit. That's what was great about He-Man.
Yeah, the 80s. It's all the beauty of the 80s television.
You know, that would be cool if they had like if they did Mask again. Remember Mask back in the day?
Oh yeah, I remember Mask.
Oh
Yeah, remember Mask. They should redo that fucking one. That would be a cool one to do.
And Centurions.
Oh yeah, Centurions.
They'd have to update the fucking shit though. That's the thing.
Live action or animation? Oh, better animation. Just to keep the nostalgia afloat.
It's like Mass Crusaders. They should keep it at 80s though. Like they should do the 80s still and leave the 80s flavor, but then they just kind of do it like it's just kind of weird. I don't know.
That
I didn't
would
like
definitely
those.
be a great idea for a cartoon. Just keep it in the 80s.
Yeah, like just you don't need to make it anything any more than what it is. It's like if they're like, oh, what you got to do all this crazy shit, you know? No, you don't. Like just fucking keep it kind of cool. Like that's it. Mass Crusaders working overtime, fighting crime, fighting crime. That one. But it's like it was just cool. And then they had Galaxy Rangers. That was actually a pretty cool one too.
Galaxy Ranger? What the
It's
hell?
like
I
an
never heard of
old.
that one.
It's like not a very big one, but it was kind of anime, and it was like about Galaxy Rangers, and they worked with like these aliens to bring crime, like keep crime down. They were kind of like Texas Rangers, but for space.
But in space. I got it.
Yeah, they were
I
supposed to be
remember it.
Yeah. It was just like it wasn't a big show, but it was actually really cool. I like that one, Galaxy Rangers. That was a cool one. They didn't do it all the time, which sucked. So you couldn't keep track of the storyline, but what you did like, you liked a lot. I should probably binge watch that. But then they also had what was it? Trying to think. They also had what was it? Fuck, I'm trying to remember. They also had there's Galaxy Rangers. There was Saber Rider, which was fucking cool. I liked Saber Rider a lot. That was a good one. Trying to think what else I needed to do or what was there. But anyway, that's me nerding out on cartoons. There you go.
Well, the name Galaxy Rangers reminded me of Galaxy High. Do you guys remember that one?
I remember that one. That was cool.
I like high school. Yeah, it was a high school in outer space.
Yeah,
I think that was anime style too.
Yeah, it was kind of anime style. And what I liked about it was that they had Galaxy High. It was like an exclusive school that they were using experimentally to see if it would work, and it turned out to actually be a thing. Like Doyle, it was funny with Doyle. Like they thought he was popular, so he thought he'd be popular in outer space, and it turned out like no, because it was funny because like in the cartoon. The girls outnumbered like I think the girls like didn't outnumber the guys. What it was is that there weren't that many girls, so they didn't know, like they were like when they met a girl they're like, oh hey, here's a girl, like a human girl, and then there were too many boys, so they said, oh fuck boys. So yeah,
Sounds like the graphic novel Y the Last Man, but reverse.
kind of, yeah, but it wasn't as depressing, and nobody was really dead.
Yeah, that'd be a bummer for a Saturday morning cartoon show.
Yeah, everybody's fucking dead. Yeah, it got to a point where it was like I kind of like didn't want to watch or do too many depressing things anymore, which is funny, but wasn't that bad. So let me go ahead. Overtime, fighting crime.
And I miss the Saturday morning cartoons with a bowl of cereal on the side.
Oh yeah, I miss it.
Unfortunately, like Saved by the Bell kind of began the ending of all that.
Right.
They started doing all those live action sitcoms in the morning.
Yeah.
Remember there was California Dreamin'?
California Dreamin'. I'm trying to remember that one. Which one was
I never
that?
watched it, but I think it was about a vacuum, but I was a little older then, so I didn't watch it.
I haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah, but they just took the prototype for Saved by the Bell and made a bunch of generic trashy shows, and I guess kids probably watch those instead. So
Yeah, maybe that's why everything's so degenerate today.
yeah.
Mhm.
I'm kind of laughing about the degenerate part. I'm the person far removed to do degenerate anything, to be honest.
There's two sides of that I used to watch when it comes to Saturday morning cartoons. The Disney version we call the One Saturday Morning, and the Warner Brothers version would be Kids WB.
Yeah, I remember Kids WB.
I have no memory. I'm like 45 now, so.
Right. I remember Kids WB. My sister used to watch that a lot.
And we used to enjoy watching Batman the Animated Series.
Oh yeah, well there you go. That's fucking what you had to watch back in the day, right? I watched that a lot. I just thought it was really good.
It is. And one of the episodes won an Emmy Award.
Which one was that? I'm trying to remember.
The Heart of Ice.
Oh, is that the one about his wife, Dr. Freeze's wife? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was like I think somebody tried to kill her or something, and it turned out they didn't kill her, but he had to be in jail because of all the shit he did.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the funny part was, sorry about that, but finish that one. The funny part was that this humanitarian guy who's responsible for messed up Mr. Freeze, is, surprise, surprise, was also voiced by Mark Hamill.
There you go.
I did not know that.
There you go.
Yeah, I do know that episode really sticks with you. Like 20 since I've seen it, I only pretty much remember that one episode.
Right.
With Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze. It's like Mr. Freeze.
Hold on, everyone. Chill.
Yeah, that fucking movie is so campy.
They should have hired you to work on the script.
Right.
Chill out.
Chill out. I mean, when you look at it, it was just like a really campy show when you think about it. Like, it was very campy in a lot of ways.
It's kind of like an updated version of the 60s Batman.
I just remembered the next episode, actually. It's been a while.
Oh, yeah?
I think Batman wasn't in that episode, maybe at the beginning and the end, but it would also take place in the West.
Interesting. Oh, this isn't blurring. That's fucking weird that this isn't blurring. I'm just like trying to do an effect on here and just blur it, but it's not letting me blur, which is weird. Should like let
Clip
me
Studio?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Yeah, that's what I use exclusively anymore is Clip Studio. I think we have a different approach to coloring. That's very solid color.
Yeah, definitely. I totally hear you on that. Let me see real quick. Sorry, I'm just checking something.
Let's see, what does it say? Radial blur. I don't know. That's odd. It looks like it's stuck.
No, it's rendering right now.
Ah.
It's taking its time, but it's rendering. But yeah, so it's like one of those deals right there. Oh boy, it's been like kind of a crazy day, but I'm glad I broke 5K. I'm happy about that. So the rest of it should be sugar. So we'll see how it goes.
Oh, I see a comment.
Oh, you see a comment? Who's saying what? Hey, yo, Christy, Q, and James. Hey, what's up?
Hey, Pops.
So we're doing the thing.
It's the Kickstarter. Oh, yeah, there it is. There's a Kickstarter for Pop-Up Balloon and Cactus.
Right. So, yeah, Pop-Up Balloon Cactus. Yeah, check it out, guys. Also, let me go ahead while my thing is chugging here. I'll put up my Kickstarter right up here so you guys can take a look. And then the Roku channel is also in the my Demon Bitch I Hate You All Kickstarter as well in the thing. So you could go ahead and take a look at that.
By the way, I am one of the backers, so I highly recommend it. Christie is one of my favorite artists on Facebook.
Oh, thank you.
Hey,
Yeah,
no problem.
James, has been a really good support of everybody. Like, I don't know how the fuck you keep on top of that shit, because sometimes we're just in an Instagram group where we all support each other, and I'm just like, oh, what the hell, Sometimes I go back in and I feel bad, but he's on top of like announcing things and updates and everything, and it's just like with me, it's like I haven't been able to do that. It kind of sucks sometimes.
Hey, I'm sure I missed somebody along the way. I'm in the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
You also from California, James?
I'm actually on the East Coaster. I'm actually in Pennsylvania, right underneath
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Pennsylvania. Which town? Which city? Pittsburgh.
No, Pittsburgh is quite a bit away. I'm actually in Lancaster, which is a little bit outside of Philadelphia. I'd say it probably takes an hour to get to.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me think about who you know from here. Tim Truman. He actually shops at the same comic store as I do. That's the only person you probably know from around here.
Right.
Oh, and also the Frazetta Museum is pretty close. That's about 2 hours away.
2 hours away.
Oh yeah, I've seen some Frazetta originals in life, so that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, Frank Frazetta. Oh yeah, this guy was is a legend. He was, and will always be a legend.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I really wanted to see his ink work when I went there, and I was very lucky they had some Johnny Comet originals. That just made my day. And on top of that, seeing all the paintings was just fantastic.
Right.
Oh, I've seen ones. It was a really big ass book about Frank Frazetta's paintings. I don't know how it's 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 a tome basically. It's about as big as an average laptop, but as thick as let's just say about this thick.
Is it
It's
the
a big ass
Taschen
book.
volume? Is it the
I
Taschen
think
volume?
so.
A Sparlock, perhaps a Vanguard?
Could be, but I couldn't remember. But it's all I can say. It's a big book.
Okay, yeah, like an artist edition. So that big, right? Yeah, that's Taschen. Yeah, no, that's yeah, that is Taschen. That's right.
Gosh.
Nice.
Yeah, I do not have that one. I would love to have that one, but it's expensive. So
yeah, it's pricey.
what did it start at? Like
reference.
I think it was dollars when it came out, right?
Huh.
Yeah, that's a little out of league. So
Gotcha on that. Oh boy, sorry, this is taking a while. This better be fucking worth it. This radial blur, I swear to God. Now, will it go and chug in time? Sometimes it's so annoying. Sometimes I think maybe I should just go and just like do an effect at the end or something like that. That'd be good. God. Can't believe it. Here, why don't I do this instead of doing this cumbersome ass thing? This is what I'm going to do.
Cumbersome ass.
Dude, sometimes I'm just like, why?
Yeah. It's that crazy gremlins.
Well, sometimes some effects like take a long time, but you can go and duplicate some of them or kind of be close to it if you do this. So I'm like, okay, this takes up a lot less time. Kind of like that, right? Kind of like put this up here. see if this will work. Because I love these effects right here, like the sprays and all these other things, because that'll... Oh, that's not going to work. It's kind of like... more of the dappled light. It's more of a fire thing going on. There we go. I think that's good. So there we go. We have the drawing right down there. I'm going to sign it too, because that's just what I do.
Looks badass.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Especially I like the details.
Yeah. And it's like knowing the history of like this person, of this character. It's like, oh, great, you know. So there we go. Let's take a look.
Voila.
Voila.
Wah, 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 wah.
That will look good for two things, either on a poster or on a sketch card.
Right.
You know, I really
I'm
love
gonna go.
the way you do eyes. It's really like it really like strikes you, you know.
Oh yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
I
What do you
agree.
I
think?
think so. Like I see a lot of personality in the way you do eyes.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, I try to make the eyes like arresting on a certain level.
But I like it what you did with the smoky effect at the eyes. It almost looks like a sleeping bags, but in reality it's smoky.
Yeah, well, you know, she is evil. She's supposed to
Smoky
have
mascara.
evil eyes. You know, the evil eye thing. You know, there you go. I'm trying to put
Revlon.
together. Yeah, right. I'm
She's
putting-
not evil. She's misunderstood.
Well, actually, she is. It's funny. It's like she's kind of evil, but she's like camp evil, you know, kind of thing. Like, oh, I'm evil, but you can reason with her or something. That's like, this is the character Nexus from Long Ago and Far Away, and they're kickstarting a volume 2, so that's a good one right there. So yeah. I'm just working on this one.
Some what's the name of that crazy villainess from Power Ranger?
Oh, Rita Repulsa.
Yeah. That's the one.
Right there. So there we go.
Looks
I don't know if I
pretty
should make
awesome.
her skin. I don't know if I should make her skin have highlights. Really, I don't think it really matters. Let me go and
Think so with the highlights, but yeah, since it's a flame hit the background.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it here. I don't want it too like hard light, because if it is, it doesn't look quite right, you know.
Have you noticed there's no beeping sound?
Oh yeah, Egg Lady is now out the door. Let me see if this will...
How things going in Pittsburgh?
Actually, not too bad in Pennsylvania. That is.
Pennsylvania. Sorry.
But yeah,
How's it going in Pennsylvania?
It's a little chilly these days. Probably the opposite of you guys.
It's actually kind of warm here. I find it kind of weird that it's warm here.
Are you in?
Chilly? Was it in the 60s or 50s?
Might be in the 50s. It at least feels like it.
Nice. Whenever I hear the saying of Philadelphia or that particular Philadelphia or I think Philadelphia. The first thing I thought about is a Philadelphia cheesesteak.
Oh, those, Those are very good. I actually I found a piece of place near me to the Philly cheesesteak. But they're just delicious. They make their own bread. It's really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think I need to add any more to it. I think it's pretty cool the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. All right, let's go with that. So I'm going to go and export it. I'm going to email this to Chris, so it's like...
Yeah. Do it. Because you can do it.
Right? I'm going to email this to him, guys, but I hope you like it. It looks cool. There we go. So go ahead and back his thing. Please do that, because he's a really cool guy, and it's a good story, and I've been reading it. Because he gave me volume 1. That was very generous of him. Go and check it out. It's actually a good read. And if you're getting stressed out about life, go read it anyway, because it's kind of funny. It's like a really relaxed form of humor. You should really back it. And let me go ahead and throw that one up there again with Long Going Far Away. Go ahead, you guys. So it looks like it is time now. And please go and pop up not only Demon Bitch, I Hate You All. Also, here's the last one of Papa Balloon and Cactus 3. Please back that, because in a week it's going to be gone. I have 2 weeks left. Chris has about 11 days left, 11, 12 days left. Please go and back those two. So please, 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 please. And I will be happy to have other people online. And you guys have a great day. Thank you so much, James, for popping on. I'm sorry your computer was being a bitch.
Oh yeah, no problem. Not your fault.
Yeah, but hopefully that'll give you the next kick in the next few days. And guys, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. And you guys have a great day. Talk to you
Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Peace out.